Hello everyone, this is Ian. In this video, I'm going to show you how to bake the random flow results on a plane or on a default plane so you can use it as a normal map template for your models. So I've gone ahead and added in eight additional topologies. So I did that because the the way you design the topology has great effect on the result of the randomization. So I'm just gonna try this one. So this method will work on, it's not version specific. So this method will work on no matter what version you're in or you're using. Okay, let's try this one. And using the source mesh again, I'm going to add a paneling details. So I'm just gonna reduce the inset, increase the margin, not too not too much. Probably just leave the margin at 0 because of the way the topology is um, making the subdivision higher creates bunches of the topology here and creates, if we increase the margin, it's going to create warped geometry that area. So let's just leave it at 0 for now. Shortest and longest. Let's try none. So none means it will favor no specific edge. Actually, it's just use 4. And then from this, I'll work our way smaller and smaller details and decrease the depth to 0.05. Oh, 0.005. And increase the inset to make it sharper, to make the cuts sharper. And then select the new panel and choose coplanar. Select only the top faces and not the sides. And use paneling again. So this is, so the layering system is not specific to any version. It's just a method of working with the tools. So you basically create the randomize or create the produce randomized meshes on top of each other to create the layered effect. It's too much bunching in here. Okay, so in the interest of time, just hurry this up and going to try that. None. Then 2 or 1. Okay, let's try that. Coplanar. Um, let's see. One slice and coplanar again. Control click on the operator to bring the subdivision to 0 so we don't crash. And right here, it's too much inset or inset thickness. So let's reduce that. Actually, there's also too much inset thickness on this part. So on the previous part that we worked on, so we're going to fix that before moving on. So basically what we're doing is creating uh, angular noise. There we go. So this is the bunching right here. So we need to fix that by setting the inset um, much lower or setting a much lower inset. And let's try this one here. This is, there we go. Quad slice and coplanar. Random panels. Let's see any bunching. Think we're good. Try add more details here as well on this on the second layer of the paneling at the bottom. Coplanar. Control click to bring the subdivision to 0 and let's try 1. Okay, I think we can work with this. Let's try the baking. So we're going to use this, our source mesh, the plane underneath, as our to bake these details here. So Shift D and bring it up just a just a bit above the rest of the our design, our randomized design, and then select all the randomized design, including the floor or the background or the plane or our source mesh, and then uh, Control J to join them to single object. Okay, let's try and bake this. Let's go to cycles, GPU compute, and go to bake. We're going to bake the normal tangent selected to active. Toggle this on. So the selected will be baked to the active object. So you can can actually select multiple objects or just two objects, and then from that selection, the rest of the selection, aside from the active object, will be baked to the active object. So it goes like this. Select the object you want to bake, or the objects you want to bake, then select the active object will be the last one selected. So this one will be baked to this plane here. And output image texture. So let's create a material for the plane, and then let's go to image editor. Let's create the normal map. New. I'm just gonna use 1024 by 1024 to make this faster. And okay. And then click on this icon here and drag it to the material we just made for the plane. And then since we're just doing the normal, I don't think we need too much sampling for this. So let's try and look for the sampling. Sampling, noise threshold, max sample. We have, let's try 256 on the viewport. So we're not gonna use the viewport anyway. So render, we have max samples of 4096. That's too much. Let's try and use 8 times 4. So just 32 for this demonstration. And let's bake this. Bake. Let's go to bake. Bake. So do we have everything? I think we have everything. We really have everything. Can't tell. Hmm. Let's hide this and look at this model here. Yeah, I think we got everything. So from here, we can create another image. Where's the new image? Let's name this AO and OK. And drag the AO to here and go AO. So let's see normal and AO. And let's select the model, our design again, and let's select the plane we're going to bake it into. And bake type is ambient occlusion. Let's try this 32. It's probably too much. 16. So you can raise it up to make something like the ambient occlusion, get rid of the noise. But for this video, I'm using a much lower samples because of the interest of time. So let's select it to active. Bake. You can bake. I think you can bake displacement in cycles. Is there a displacement in cycles? No. Okay, we have the AO. And now I can try it on actually uh wait, think we can randomize this island. because we joined everything. Let's just try that. And then here, new, on our design, new, and ambient occlusion. Our vertex color here, and color. Let's try and bake our color. Okay. And drag it on the material. Wait, escape. Make sure we are on the plane. Drag it here. So let's see. Our normal, our AO, and our color. I'm not sure about the color which to make sure that the image you're trying to bake is highlighted. Okay, and let's try diffuse because it's the vertex color is plugged to the diffuse input. Let's just try it. I hope it works. If it doesn't, we're going to plug it in the emission slot. It's worked, but it's too dark. So what I'm gonna do is plug it to the emission slot, set the emission strength to 2, and emit and bake. So we're just after the color, so we can just use emission for this purpose. And I think that is actually too much. So just one, and we need to bake again. Then we're going to apply it on the um, plane to see what we got. There we go. Now we're going to select the plane and hide everything. And we're going to connect the color, the base color, and multiply the AO to the color. So color mix RGB, set the factor mode to multiply, and AO. Let's just try one, and then if it's too much, we can decrease the value. And normal is RGB. Why is it as RGB? This is supposed to be non-color. Anyway, let's just see if this works. Vector, go to vector, shift A to add a material, a node, and go to vector and then normal map. So normal is not the right one. This is actually used for creating fake shadows or fake lighting. So we want the normal map. So color, set the color, and just leave the strength to 1, and just set this to normal. And material preview. So the shader is compiling. And let's set the metallic to 1. You can see that our AO is too noisy. But this is just for, if you're doing this, you can set it higher. Let's try our normal if it's really working. Yes, it is. So we can do this and do that after you mapped it to the object. And then our uh, color, since since this only involves color values, can actually just affect it using color ramp to create colors and to change the color scheme. So you can add something like this. Let's use constant. Create another color step. Control click on the color bar here to create a new color step. And then we're going to limit that. Okay, so can do this. And then duplicate it, create uh, an array. So with that, you can create a whole bunch of stuff. So let's try another model. And UV map this face only. And in this, create a new material. Let's go here. And let's go to our material. Set the metallic to that full. And here, unwrap, or you can project from view. So this is what it looks like. Remember in the last video, I've shown you how to use Shift 7 to face the selected element. So like here, Shift 7, and here Shift 7. Whatever its orientation is, Shift 7. You can use this in combination with project from view. You can try project from view bounds. So let's try that. Project from view bounds means it will stretch the face and to the boundary of the UV map. So there's no wasted space. So here we're going to create a new material, new, and assign it to this face here. Actually, and then let's use the material here. Uh, wait, wait. Um, Add a new material slot. Then select. I'm sorry. Don't press new since we already have this. Um, Select the. What's the name of this material? So material. It should show up. It didn't show up. Oh, we need to assign. There we go. Forget about this side. And then since they're all connected, we can go to vector. I mean input texture coordinates. Input. I pressed X. That's the shortcut for the texture coordinate. So UV and vector mapping and connect them all to this tree here. Since they're the same, they're using the same dimension and UV. And beside this, to create a new material, just press. I think this one. No, this to create a new material from this. There we go. This one here, this icon here, this uh, page looking icon. So it's now separated from this material here. So whatever changes we make here, it's not gonna affect this. and we're going to adjust the scale. And adjust the scale or rotation or location, or we can add using the you can use the map for a different kinds of effects. Like in emission, we're going to use the color, plug it to emission, and then use color ramp. If you had no Wrangler on, press backspace to reset. Set it to constant. We're going to capture a few cells and um, use it for emission, depending on the gradient. There we go. And set to 5. I'm going to add a GS placement texture on this. Color, mix, multiply, and you're not gonna see me open a browser, the file browser, because I want to set the recording to record the uh, Blender window only. So I'm going to go to displacements. There we go. And set another color ramp here. Set it. Set it to constant. UV. Okay. Multiply. Let's change the color to something like that. And we can affect the size of this. You can uh, press and then drag to affect them all. To make it bigger. And if you happen to misalign one, just copy the top values. Control C, Control V. Okay, let's use green. And let's try to capture more cells. Let's try to use the on this let's try it on this area here. So we're going to cut this here. Control E, mark seam, unwrap. Oh my god. I don't have that UV add-on installed. So smart UV project, and still gave me that. So that's probably a bad idea. So wait, I can do this project from view. There we go. And then here, I'm going to select the material and create a new material to not affect this. It can work like that. Let's get rid of the. Let's see if the. Oh no. Actually, let's try and use the one with the lights. But since they're using the same material, what I'm gonna do instead is select all this, Control C, and go to this material here. Delete everything, Control V. The clipboard is empty. Control C, Control V. Sometimes it does it like that. So to avoid that, there's a trick. Uh, Copy it first. Select everything first. Control C, then Control V to paste it here. Then delete the duplication. Then go here. So it's kind of a blender thing. Let's get rid of the orange bit. And there we go. Just a simple demonstration of how you can use the actually look at this. You need to fix this. We can actually fix this by project from view, project from view, project from view. And then you need to go to edit this more. You need to go to the UV map itself and then select the face. And so in Blender, to get rid of the overlays, so I'm in edit mode, it's showing me the selected face. To get rid of that, so I can see the effect much better without going to object mode, I can press Shift Alt Z to get rid of the overlay, but I'm still in edit mode, move things. But now without the overlays to confuse my, to block my vision, so you can select this. Let's see, and just adjust placement. So something like that. Solid material preview. Okay, so that is how you bake the. You can bake a lot of this using the add-on with providing you um, follow what's in the documentation. You can add topology to different results on the plane each time. So by using the add-on for creating normal map templates, you can have a library full of this, and instead of using just pure geometry for the details, you can have a balance of geometric details and just details provided by textures. So the scene will be lighter. You can use geometry to break the profiles of the model because um, the normal map, the textures cannot do that. Okay, only the only geometry can break the profile of an object like this. You can see what I mean is the profile is that the outline. We've broken it using geometry, but with just texture, unless you're using displacement, you can see that the profile is pretty straight. Actually, the add-on inherits the texture, so let's try this. And which we can choose which texture to inherit. Panels. So at material index -1, if an object of the source mesh has a material, then it will seek out the active material. The active material in this case is the highlighted one, so it gets so the operator used that. If you go to 0, this is 0 and this is 1, and proceeding numbers after that 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one is 0 in the index. So 1, 2, so you can see number 1 is uh, material 004, material 0.004, which has the green lighting and the orange bits, and this is material 0. Let's set it to 1, -1 to get the active. Only get the active material. Margin. I think this also inherits it. Yeah, but it's not UV mapped. So the randomization inherits the UV map, but only for the top faces. The faces on the sides are new faces, and it's not included in the source mesh's UV mapped face. So you can see it's a bunch of this. The image is distorted. Only the top face is UV map, which is inherited from the source mesh, which is kind of cool because you won't really exactly see the side faces that much anyway. Let's go to solid and view it here. So there you have it. That is how you bake the normal maps. And another thing, if you encounter this, so before I end the video, I'm going to show this. I need to show this. So we got every bit of the details here because of the we used paneling on the top faces, but if you're just using random loop extrude, you can see here that we can see all the details in the viewport because we have cavity on. But if we turn this off and outline, you can see that we can't really see the details too much. And this is what the normal map will bake. This is what it will see. So I'm just going to demonstrate. Let's turn on cavity and outline and create our bake material plane. Select this objects, Ctrl J, select this one, new material and new image, normal 01, drag it here and select our design and then our bake mesh, bake to mesh. Okay, and normal map. And then let's bake. There we go. Nothing. Just as I demonstrated by turning off the cavity and outline, there's no detail. So how do we avoid this? Because we need to have something like because the it saw the paneling because quad slice, flat faces, panels. It saw the paneling because it's kind of scaling inwards like that, so you can see it clearly even without cavity and outline. You can see the detail clearly because the faces are kind of scaled inwards. So how do we remedy that? Well, we can add bevel and let's just use segment 1 and go to shading and harden normals and set enable auto smooth. Okay, auto smooth and amount. Let's see, let's turn off cavity outline. There we go. Now we can see the details because the edges have been um, beveled. Let's not use too much. And let's try and bake this. Bake and hope this works. There we go. Now we can see the detail. And if we use it on this plane, go to vector, normal map, it's gonna compile. There we go. We have that. So it works the same way with if you're trying to bake a normal AO or um, AO or displacement. I think if you want to bake the displacement, I think you had to use other softwares because Blender can't do that at the moment. So that's how you uh, cheat the process to make the details um, to make the normal see the details when it's baking. Okay, so what I did is kind of messy, but uh, I leave it to you to. I just showed you how the basic steps, and I leave it to you to refine the process on your own way. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, use the comment section below and the links in the description. Have a nice day.